Hello and welcome back to the course on Introduction to Solid State Physics. In the last few classes, we have been discussing about the heat capacity of the solids through the concept of phonons. We know that classically, according to the Dulong-Petit's law, the experimentally observed heat capacity of the solids is almost constant and its value is 3R. Here Cv is the molar heat capacity and it has been plotted as a function of the absolute temperature. So we can see at higher temperature it is almost constant, and theoretically we saw by applying the Dulong-Petit law and by applying the classical ideas that it is actually is equal to 3R. Then to explain the heat capacity behavior of the solids at lower temperatures and the intermediate temperatures, we applied the quantum concepts, and that is what is known as the Einstein's theory for the lattice heat capacity. And there we assumed the solid atoms to be vibrating like an quantum harmonic oscillator, and the energy eigenvalue of the harmonic oscillator is it is n plus half h cross omega, where omega is the frequency of the harmonic oscillators, and there are 3n such harmonic oscillators where n is the Avogadro number. And since each atom can vibrate in all the three directions, so as a total there are 3n harmonic oscillator. So here we have to note that all these harmonic oscillators are oscillating with the same frequency. That is what was the Einstein's assumption, and based on the Einstein assumption we could able to predict the behavior of the heat capacity of the solids properly at low temperatures. That means the heat capacity tends to 0 as the temperature tends to 0. But the problem occurs at intermediate temperatures. So when we look at the intermediate temperature, the Einstein heat capacity is following some pattern of this kind. So that means the heat capacity is little bit underestimated compared to the experimental values when we assume that all the oscillators are vibrating with the same frequency. So to overcome this, we have to apply the continuum theory of the solids, and we will assume that in fact all the frequencies are allowed up to a certain cutoff frequency called as the Debye cutoff frequency. So in this lecture we will be learning about the continuum theory of the solids, and which is called as the Debye theory. So Debye assumed the crystalline solid to be an isotropic elastic continuum, and he discarded the idea that all the atoms vibrate with the same frequency. Rather, he prescribed that the atoms do not vibrate with the same frequency. The atoms are allowed to vibrate rather in a range of frequencies. So he proposed the density of state function, which is defined as the number of vibrational modes which is allowed per unit volume in a particular frequency range. And here we are talking about the phonon density of states. So we should not get confused with the electronic density of states, which we have dealt with in our second module, but these are rather the phonon density of states. But the definition remains the same. Instead of the electronic states, here we are taking into account the vibrational states, or we call it as the vibrational modes. So the number of vibrational modes per unit volume per unit frequency range is called as the phonon density of state function, and we are denoting it as d nu d nu. So capital D nu times the range d nu. Now in today's class, let us try to find out an valid expression for the density of state function, and in the next class we will be obtaining the corresponding heat capacity of the solid using this phonon density of state function. So since according to Debye the solid is treated as a continuum, we are ignoring the discrete crystal structure and which is one of its shortcomings. So the major shortcoming of the Debye theory is that we are considering the solid to be an elastic continuum, and by doing that we are ignoring the discrete structure of the crystal. So to start with, consider a cubic solid V of volume V, and each side of the cube is L, so that the volume is L cube. For more simplicity, to calculate the density of state function, let us first assume a one-dimensional solid of length L, and we know that the corresponding elastic waves, the phonon elastic waves, can be written as the plane wave solution in the form of e to the power I q x, where q is the phonon wave vector. So we are well acquainted with this kind of function. These are the plane wave solutions, but here only the difference is that it is not k, it is q. Q correspond to the wave vector for the elastic waves, and we know that since the lattice or the solid is a periodic structure, that's why applying the boundary condition, the function e to the power I q x after a translation of L, we can get back the same function. That means e to the power I q x is equal to e to the power I q times x plus L. So this is under a translation from x to x plus L. Where L is the dimension of the one-dimensional solid, is the length of the solid, one-dimensional solid. And under this condition, if e to the power I q x is equal to e to the power I q x plus L, then what are the possible values for q? The possible values for q are 0, plus minus 2 pi by L, plus minus 4 pi by L, like this. So these are the allowed vibrational modes. Rest of the values are not allowed because of the periodic condition imposed on the lattice. So in general, we can tell that these are the only allowed vibrational modes in case of a one-dimensional solid of length L. So this means what? That means over a distance of 2 pi by L in the reciprocal space, only one mode is allowed. So here let us look at this. So there is a distance of, or there is a separation of 2 pi by L between any two allowed vibrational modes. That means only one mode is allowed over a distance of 2 pi by L. So in other words, so the density of modes in one dimension is L by 2 pi. Since one mode is there over a distance of 2 pi by L, so the density of modes in one dimension is L by 2 pi. So here it is the number of modes allowed per unit length, because we are talking about a one-dimensional solid. We can extrapolate this idea to the three-dimensional solid. So the length will become volume, and we will get a cube factor for 2 pi. So the density of modes in 3 dimension is L by 2 pi whole cube. Now in the range of the wave vector q to q plus dq, we can write the proper function for the density of states. So dq is the density of states, capital dq is the density of states, and this can be written as L by 2 pi whole cube 4 pi q square dq. So if you are having two spheres in the q space having the radius q and q plus dq, then in the range of the wave vector q to q plus dq, this is the corresponding volume. So dq, that is the density of states, can be written as a function of the wave vector q as L by 2 pi whole cube times 4 pi q square dq, and this L is related with the volume of the solid. So LQ is in fact V, and this pi factor will get cancelled out, so it will be v by 2 pi square q square dq. But ultimately we need to write the density of states as a function of omega or as a function of nu. Now let us apply it using the relation between the wave vector and the velocity of the elastic wave inside the solid. So the relation between the wave vector q and the speed of the elastic waves v is q is equal to omega by v. So when we replace this here, so this density of state function becomes d omega which is equal to v by 2 pi square vq omega square d omega. So here v and omega are replaced in the form of q. So this is the proper expression for the density of states. In fact, this expression is called as the phonon density of states. Now since in a solid the total number of degree of freedom is 3n, because we know there are n number of atoms, that is the Avogadro number of atoms, and each atom can vibrate in 3 directions. So we are having 3n degrees of freedom, and it is not infinity. Since it is not infinity, we cannot assume the allowed frequencies to be infinite. Rather, there exists a certain cutoff frequency omega d. So the phonons cannot have all the frequencies ranging from 0 to infinity. Rather, it is from 0 to omega d. So there exists a certain cutoff frequency omega d, and up to that only the frequencies are allowed. It is because we are having finite number of degrees of freedom. So for 3n degrees of freedom, if you integrate the density of states function from 0 to omega d, then 3n will be equal to integration 0 to omega d d omega d omega. This is the density of states. We are integrating it over all the possible frequencies, and it must be equal to the total number of degrees of freedom, that is 3n. It is an usual practice to rewrite this expression in the form of the actual frequency. We know that this omega d can be related with the actual frequency nu d, and nu d is called as the Debye cutoff frequency. So omega d is equal to 2 pi times the actual Debye frequency nu d, and nu d is called as the Debye cutoff frequency. We can rewrite the density of state function in the form of nu. We know the relation between them, that is omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So we can make this substitution in the original expression for the density of state that we obtained in the previous slide, and we can get that d nu is equal to 4 pi v by v square. So in the numerator we are having this nu square term, denominator we are having this v square term. So 4 pi v, capital V is the volume of the solid, by v square, where v is the speed of the elastic wave, times nu square d nu. So now we can rewrite this expression here. So this will become, so 3n will be equal to the same expression, since 4 pi v by v square can be taken outside the integration, because the integration is over the frequency. So only inside this we can have nu square d nu. It's a simple integration. After putting the limits, it will become nu dq by 3. So 4 pi, so this one will become nu dq by 3. So 3n is equal to 4 pi v by 3 v square times nu dq. And in fact now this nu d, the Debye cutoff frequency, can be expressed from this expression. Simply we can take it, all the rest of the terms we can take it to the right hand side. So there is a 3 factor here, another 3 factor here, it will become 9. So it will be cube root of 9n VQ by 4 pi capital V. So this is the expression for the Debye cutoff frequency. And normally we can write it, use another term small n, which is equal to the atomic concentration. That means the total number of atoms per unit volume. So this can also be written as 9 small n VQ by 4 pi, because capital N by capital V is equal to small n, which will give us the atomic concentration. Now another thing that is still need to be incorporated here is that the elastic waves have two kinds of modes. So they have the longitudinal modes and the transverse modes, and the number of transverse modes is always twice as that of the longitudinal modes, because for suppose there is x is the longitudinal mode, so the possible perpendicular, that is the transverse modes for this one longitudinal mode, can be either y or it can be z. So for a single oscillation or single mode along one direction, for one longitudinal mode, we can have twice as that of the transverse modes. So we have to incorporate this in the velocity term here, either here or here. So the final density of states can be written as 4 pi V, so 1 by VLQ plus 2 by VTQ, because there is only one longitudinal mode and there are associated two transverse modes, where VL and VT are the speed corresponding to the transverse mode and the longitudinal mode. VL is for the longitudinal mode and VT is for the transverse mode, and rest of the terms are the same. So 4 pi V times 1 by VLQ plus 2 by VTQ times nu square d nu, where VL and VT are the longitudinal and transverse component of the speed of the elastic waves. So we can rewrite the expression for the Debye cutoff frequency. So the same we have to incorporate it here. So in the place of VQ we have to write here 1 by VLQ plus 2 by VTQ. So that has been done here. So 9n, 9 small n by 4 pi into 1 by VLQ plus 2 by VTQ and whole to the power 1 by 3. So this is the proper expression for the Debye cutoff frequency for a solid. We know that for a typical solid, the total number of atoms per unit volume, that is per unit meter cube, is 10 to the power 28, and typical speed of the elastic wave for the longitudinal as well as for the transverse component is typical order is 10 to the power 3 meter per second. If we put these values here in the place of n, if we put 10 to the power 28 per meter cube in the place of VL and VT, we will put 10 to the power 3 meter per second, then the Debye cutoff frequency comes out to be roughly of the order of 10 to the power 12 Hertz, which falls in the far higher frequency range. So the Debye cutoff frequency for almost all the solids is around 10 to the power 12 Hertz, and it falls in the far higher frequency range. So in today's lecture we found out an expression for the phonon density of state, and also we got to know about the typical value of the Debye cutoff frequency. So the take home point today is that all the atoms may not vibrate with the same frequency, rather they are vibrating in a range of frequency from 0 to nu d, and this is possible because of the elastic continuum nature of the solid. And based on that we defined the phonon density of states d nu, and we obtained the corresponding expression for this. In the coming lecture, we are going to find out the average energy or the internal energy for the atomic vibrations, and then we will take the partial derivative of that to obtain the heat capacity of the solid according to the Debye theory.